Hello, this is Mr. Cox with Dad Stories. I wanted to catch you in this podcast number 30, I'm pretty sure it is, and talk about the ocean, and ocean fishing. Okay, I grew up loving everything to do with water. I was around water. I was with family. I liked to camp and fish and be in boats and all that kind of stuff. So I was in it. Like Lake Webster, where we used to go fishing and camping. Well, not camping, but we'd rent little cabins as a child. The water was so clear. It went through a time later, I don't know, in maybe the 1990s, probably earlier than that, like the 1980s, I think, when it had a lot of problems with sewage seeping in from people's systems, and they had to redo it, fix the septic systems. It's cleared up again now, but we go out there at night. You could see it in the daytime. We go out there at night, and with a light, you could see the bluegill on the nest. You could see everything really clear down there. It didn't mean it was shallow. Some places it was shallow, some places it was very deep. So I love that kind of thing. I remember even like as a child watching things like Tarzan movies. There was one movie in which he was in Egypt, and he found these waterways, these rivers and water channels underneath the pyramid, and he dove down and he just swam around in there, and he come up and he found an opening to a secret chamber and stuff like that. Well, you watch these movies and things, they don't have goggles on or scuba gear, and they're just swimming around there to open their eyes. Everything is just as clear as can be. It's not that way. I found out it was not that way. Swimming and diving, I can tell you how many hours, skin diving, going down, getting samples, and checking parameters of water and things in aquatic biology. Love that kind of thing. But you can't usually see in the waters around the Midwest because they're not very clear, unless you find a lake or something that's really still. And even with that, you have to have goggles on to be able to see very far at all. Otherwise, you can just see right in front of you. Everything else is blurred by the water, since we don't have the same eyes as fish and whales and other things that live in the water. So they have a different way of seeing things better than we do. Underwater, we can see better in the air. But grew up loving Jacques Cousteau documentaries. Had the little Calypso model of his boat, his books, everything about him. I wanted to be an oceanographer. I studied a lot of that type of thing, and then wanted to be a marine biologist when I found out about that. Ended up becoming an aquatic biologist because I wanted to stay around the Midwest, where my family and stuff's at. Plus, I had some opportunity as probably junior high and teenager to be around the ocean. I still love the ocean. I'm not against it, but it's a little different than you're presented. You see like these advertisements in these movies. It's just the most, people say they're going to go this beautiful romantic thing or this beautiful thing over here and see this ocean. It's going to be wonderful. My first impression with the ocean, other than it's gigantic, it's beautiful and gigantic. Just it goes on and on and on, and I don't want to go on a side thing, but you look out across that, you can see the curvature. You can see the ships coming up over it from a distance and going down over it. So I don't want to spend any more time on that right now, but I do whole presentations on that. But by the way, it stunk. Literally, physically, smells bad. That's why, like, when people are swimming in the ocean, besides it being harder on your skin to drying out, all the salt in it, the brine, salt, and the other chemicals, naturally occurring minerals, I should say, in it. They usually take a shower in fresh water or a bath in fresh water to get that salt off of them. You stink and it's hard on your skin, unless you're a creature that lives in it. So, but another impression, I won't say where because I don't want to defame the place. It gets a lot of business. It's a beautiful beach, but it's probably the time a year I was there. I was looking for these clear waters. Just wonderful. Not only did it stink, it was all churned up. It looked like mud. I think it was really brownish sand. Some places it's mud, sometimes it's sand. So I've been to the ocean several times since then and seen it in different ways, and it is beautiful, but it does stink when you wake up at it. Now, my first deal actually on the ocean, besides getting in the ocean, I'll probably do a whole other thing on, do you really wanted to get in the ocean, and what can happen with that. But let's just talk about our first ocean fishing trip. My dad, mom, and I, and brother went to, we were going to go to Disney World. We decided to go down to Florida, and we were going to go ocean fishing. So I should have known better. I get, most of my life I don't much anymore because I'm driving most of the time. There have been occasions where I made myself feel queasy driving on the road. It goes like this. There's this one place in southern Indiana, the Highway 50 goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. After driving at 55 or so miles an hour, I started feeling sick. Normally, I don't feel sick when I'm driving, but motion sickness. So I get motion sickness. Used to do that as a child, and occasionally would have to throw up, which is disgusting. But I feel horrible. And then usually after I got out of the car, it would be better, but I would still feel horrible for a few hours, till you can recover from it. Maybe take a Benadryl or something and get over it, or Meclizine or Dramamine or something. But when I was in the ocean, the other thing I should have known better is we'd stop at a place. I got this barbecue sandwich. I really like this barbecue sandwich, but I got sick on that, threw up in a motel room. Okay, that was the same night we were going out ocean fishing. So I didn't really have anything on my stomach because I threw up my meal, and I don't know why I threw up, but I did. I didn't have a flu or anything. I just didn't feel good. Who knows? Maybe I had food poisoning from it. I got on the ocean. I don't think I did because I wasn't that bad. Got on the ocean, and we're in the bay, in the Harbor Lake area, and it's really cool. And you can see the nuclear subs going out where we were at from their base, and it's kind of a secret base, I think, where they're at, and you can't actually see where they come from, but they come out and they come out and they go out in the ocean, they go down. And after you're out there just a little ways, you get out there and you see Russian trawlers just off our coast fishing, and there's people actually get paid to go out there and make sure they're not catching too many of whatever fish they're catching and that kind of thing. But we were out there, going out in there. It was fine in the bay. Everything's cool. Except, we should have had some clue, because before we got on the ship, they had hoses and they were washing the ship all down. Probably from people vomiting there before. It could be fish guts and things like that too, but anyway, that's disgusting too, especially if you're sick. Well, we got on there, we're fine, we go out. It's an 85-foot boat. That's not like, a big naval boat or something, but it's a good-sized boat. It had, I think it was twin V8s in the back. I don't know if it was 350s or what they were. They were turbocharged, and it had a lot of power, and it took this group of people out. We didn't do that because we were not drinkers. We drink water and pop and stuff. But you could spend a certain amount extra and get all the booze you could drink and all the food you could eat. I can't imagine what anybody would be eating and drinking on this boat. But anyway, we're out there, and it's fine. We start getting out of the bay, and it starts going, it's just rougher and rougher. We're looking at these Russian trawlers going by. Pretty soon we start to feel queasy. I lick my lips. I'm like, oh, I feel better. That tastes like salt. That makes me feel better. And so I told my brother and my dad, we're all sitting like on these benches on the side of the boat, and I says, lick your lips, and you'll feel better. And they're like, why'd you tell us that? It made us feel worse. So wasn't very long. I was hanging over the side of the rail throwing up because it just got rougher and rougher and rougher. I don't ever want to do it again. I thought I was going to die, and at some point, I'm not suicidal or anything, but at some point, I was so sick, I didn't care. I would have been fine if I would have died, I think, at the time. I remember thinking, there's these waves. Waves are crashing over the front of this boat and washing us down and splashing up on me hanging over the side of the boat. I couldn't got my arms locked in and stuff. But then there's these drain holes, if you want to call them that, like ovular things in there, oval shaped, to let the water go back out. But I was remember thinking, those waves are coming right up by me. What if there's a shark, And I thought, well, I don't really care, because I was so ridiculously sick. I guess at one point, my dad said, one of the girls that worked in the ship, I came by and patted me on the head because she felt sorry for me. I didn't feel it. I was just sick. So we're in there doing all that, and the wind was so strong. At one point, most of the time, I'm not seeing anything except I'm looking out, seeing the waves go up and down and up and down, and closing my eyes per time and throwing up. I had the dry heaves because I didn't have anything in my stomach to begin with. But I just kept heaving all night long, and we're going out, and it just seems like it's worse and worse and worse. It's just tossing us around like a little bobber on a, I don't know, like in a big tide pool thing or something. It's just whoosh, whoosh. And as we were going, it was kind of scary because, and especially on the way back, and I remember that having to say pool, because, we're all thinking, I'm not sure if we'll make it, because the screw or the propeller, they call it a screw on a big ship, coming out, I don't know if there was one for each engine or one tied into transmissions, both engines or what, but you could hear it. Sometimes the whole boat would lift up and draft, meaning the propeller or the screw wasn't catching water, and those V8s go, and you hear them screaming, and then you go bam and hit the bottom, and then it catch back in again. So, dude, so it was wicked. So we're out there. I think everybody except maybe the captain of the ship got really ill, and they eventually had us come back early, thank God, because we felt like we were going to die. Nobody could fish, and they gave us a rain check if we wanted to go out back again. Nobody wanted to go back again from our group. I don't know about anybody else. We'd bought these things, I don't know if they were schmelts or anchovies or what they were, some bit of fish, probably schmelt, I think, to use for bait. We didn't use any of them. Back in the harbor, we threw them out to the pelicans. There are pelicans everywhere, and ducks and stuff out there eating, just gave it to them. It was never used as bait, but when we were going out, we were still going out, and we got to the point where we're going to fish several miles out, wherever it was. They knew a place that was good for catching fish. They put the anchor down. Okay, it wasn't bad enough that we're going like this. When you put the anchor down, it's held to the bottom. The whole ship just goes straight up and down. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like a ride at an amusement park or something to do. Is woof, but it does that and just keeps doing it, and then your stomach feels like it's gonna pop out of your throat, and then it falls and boom, it hits like every time. And they put these the biggest lead weights they had on these things. I can't figure out why we still use lead weights for fishing, but this is a hazardous material, but they do, because it's soft and you can put it around the line. But they couldn't keep the lines down. That's one reason they decided to quit fishing, because the people were trying to fish. Not few people that weren't so ill they couldn't stand it, but it was pulling the lines back up. And my brother poked me at some point and said, hey, look up there. And there were flying fish way up above the antennas, the mast on the boat, which I don't know how many feet that was up there. I don't know, maybe 30, 40 feet up or something. The wind was so strong. They were just, first time I've seen flying fish. They're sailing along, flying all over the place. And this one dude, we said, it's not derogatory, he just looked like he was a great salt fisherman or something. And this flying fish come up, popped you right in the forehead, left a great big red mark on him. I'm afraid, I think he killed the fish, but other than that, him killing the fish, it was, I hadn't been so sick, it was funny to see. But there's a flying fish went down and hit me, and my brother poked me again. I'm like, see, I'm so sick that I can't stand up, but I still can't stand to not save this fish, so I'm in here feeling like I'm going to die, and I had to fiddle with the fish until I could get it out and throw it out one of those drain holes down there back into the ocean. When I say drain hole, it's not like a drain down the drain, it's just goes straight to the ocean. And I was happy to see the fish go out, but it was terrible experience. I guess I'm glad we had. I know not to do it again. I use Dramamine. Dramamine usually works great for me, other than it makes me so sleepy I can't stand it. That night I wasn't sleepy. Sometime on the way back, it got bad enough. My dad's like, hey, here, boys. We crawled into the inside the cabin where they had food and stuff, and there was it was like going like this, and people's cups that were sliding across the tables and stuff. And I'm like, I can't look. I just had to close my eyes and look at the floor. And then it was warm in there. Outside, at least you had the cooler air blowing on you. It's cool, not cool, but it's, I don't know. It might have been 65, 70 degree air. It felt hotter than that inside. It felt like 80 or something in there. So, but we made it back. But I never seen like as soon as I stepped off on the dock, I was fine. No more sickness. Like I said, when I'm car sick, I'm usually sick for a long time. That was just gone. However, the next 2 days at Disney World, everything inside my diaphragm, my chest, my shoulders, everything just hurt so bad. Every time I breathed or coughed or did anything from all that vomiting. So it was awful. Now, Dramamine's good. I'm not dissing Dramamine. I've used it lots of times. But that deal in the ocean when I was sick to begin with, and getting in that severe thing was too much for me with Dramamine. And I use magnesium now. It's less drowsy. It still makes you drowsy, but in form of anti-nausea medicine. However, I was going to school for aquatic biology. I'd worked a summer for the DNR, and I was going to go back. And we went on a trip with Ball State University out on a 65-foot boat on Lake Michigan. Now, Lake Michigan in the Great Lakes, Superior, Huron, Superior is the wickedest of them. Erie, Ontario, and Michigan, I think said that, are very rough. They have more of a chop to them instead of even waves. And in fact, for decades, probably for actually hundreds of years, a lot of seagoing ships sunk in the Great Lakes, particularly in Lake Superior, because the chop is so severe. And in the fall particularly, they would get this wicked storms called the Witch in November that would come in and sink a lot of ships because they couldn't. These ocean-made ships were made for the ocean, but they couldn't stand up in the Great Lakes. So I knew it's choppy, it's bad, rough. But I went to my doctor and got this prescription for this stuff called transderm scoop. It's scopolamine. That's close pronunciation, but it's regulated because it's very potent. You don't want to get it in your eyes. You don't want to get too much on you, but just a little tab, adhesive tab sticks right behind your ear. I was able to, the whole time on this ship, fine. It's a 65-foot boat. I was able to go, which it's gone about more because it's 20 foot shorter than the one in the ocean. I was able to go down under deck, and we had these nets we're pulling into this machine and taking the fish out and do all that. I once under there because it was pretty warm under there in the summer's sun. I got just a little bit queasy, but not bad, and I was fine. So if you're ever going to go in the ocean or Great Lakes and you get seasick easy, you might want to think about talking to your doctor about that. Those medicines will make you feel really loopy, and you don't want to drive with them, though, I'll tell you that, because they'll and you're sleepy. But out in the ocean, I mean, I don't know what else you do if you're given to seasickness. Most sailors, I think, in the Navy actually get sick for a good while before they can get straightened up. I don't think I would ever get straightened up. I think I would just get sick till I threw everything up that I didn't have, and then eventually get dehydrated and die. I mean, it was bad. So I've been, like I said, been on freshwater all my life. You know, lakes, rivers around here, and some people I know that get sick if the boat just goes a little bit. It doesn't bother me, but there's something about that pitching and heaving that just makes it want to come up out of your stomach contents. It's coming from your inner ear, but it also works on that. So there's more I could say, but I'm going to cut it off here. I'll catch you in another podcast. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Also watch my science videos. I just posted another one a short one on rocks and minerals.